Okay, guys, let's continue with revision of we're revising now question 3. Ne? It's about two animal production system. You can see this one is extensive, and this one, because many animals, it is intensive. Okay, two animal production system identify here. So you will say A, it's extensive, and B, it's intensive. You can even give reasons. Ne? Name two characteristics that are normal associated with the production system in A. So in A, that is extensive, you can see that the A has got a large area and few animals, or we can, few animals, it's low density. Another thing, we see the free movement of animals. There's no control, there's no shelters or lot of control, so there's free movement of animals. Unlike here, you can see that animals are not free to move. Here, few laborers, that is minimal human interaction. Okay, all right. Compare the above production system on the basis of area of land in relation to production output. Okay, A, it's a large area or large area of land occupied, but there's what? Low production output. Because it says compare, consider area of land size and the production output. B, intensive, it's a small area occupied and high production output. You can see, ne? So this one is intensive, small area, but high production. Extensive. Okay, let's move on. Here, in this diagram here, the diagram shows various structures, as you can see, used to control the movements of farm animals. Choose a diagram A to F that matches the description. You write down only the letter. Ne? A method which allows animals to graze in a circular area, definitely the cow in the pole, so it's F. A structure used for use next to a busy road to animals away from road, so as to keep it away from road, so it's A. A temporary structure to control the daily grazing of dairy cows. Temporary structure to control dairy, okay, it's D. A structure without poles or wires that was used in indigenous practices to control, they were using stones. It's a crawl, it's E. A sophisticated method to capture wild animals, definitely it is C. All right, yeah, so you can look, yeah, all right, you must just apply your mind in these ones. Okay, let's move on. Here, during an experiment, a few heifers were injected with a growth stimulant to test the effectiveness. The results of growth stimulants in heifers and eggs were tabulated in an experiment. You can see that when you increase the volume of a growth stimulant, the growth also increases. Ne? Okay, so they are really growth stimulants. Name two growth stimulants used in the animal production system. Oh, okay. So they just want any growth stimulants. The ones that we know are hormones, Hormones are growth stimulants. Antibiotics are growth stimulants. Antibiotics are growth stimulants. Growth regulate growth. Oh, sorry. It's what? Is it thyroid regulators? Thyroid regulators. They are also growth stimulants. And those that make animals to be tame or to be tranquil are tranquilizers. So those are examples of growth stimulants. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. Determine the growth response of the heifers at a growth stimulant application of 15 mils. 15 mils is there. So it's 395 kilograms at 15 mils. So if you give animal 15 mils, so you will see this growth. Draw a line graph to illustrate the volume of growth stimulants and the growth response for these heifers. Guys, you 7 marks, but it comes for 6 marks in a graph. But you know those the criteria for a graph. First one is the heading. You start with the heading. Then the heading, you can take it from, because the heading must have the growth stimulant, both sides, the volume of a growth stimulant and the growth response. So you can, let's look at the question, illustrate volume of growth of the growth stimulants and the growth response of heifers. You see it's a heading already, this one here. Even if this was here, you can just, as long as the heading mentions both variables, not one-sided. Okay, and another thing is the x-axis. Okay, and the y-axis. Guys, this should be, then this is 0 there. If we look at growth stimulant and the growth response, definitely a growth stimulant is independent, ne? Growth stimulant. It's independent, but it responds when we put in a growth stimulant. So this one is a dependent. So we put it on the y-axis. Growth response, ne? And it's easy here. It's in 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. You see, it's so easy. And here we have 120 to 220. If we use 20, 40, 60, no, we're not going to finish. It's going to go up. But if we use, let's say, 50, 100, 150, 200, 250, 300, 350, there, 400, then you can see 120 will be around there, ne? Okay, this is just informal. So okay, guys, you can see that another thing that we need not to forget is the heading. The both axes well calibrated. Growth stimulants is in kg. Don't forget the units. It's another mark. And growth stimulants is in milliliters. So it's another mark. So when they mark it will be 1 mark for the heading, 1 mark for the x-axis, another mark for the y-axis. We already have 3. How many? 3 marks. The units, you see the units, both units are there. So you have the 4th mark. The 5th mark is just the graph. At 20, at 0, you have 120. 120 is around there. At 5, 250, 255. And 250 is there. 10 and 340, 10 and 340 is around there. You can see the trend of the graph. You can see the trend here. All right. Then we said 1, 2, 3, 4. Then for the line graph is 5. If you get all 5, the 6 marks, you just give it. And then you have all 6 marks. Wonderful. All of you guys, please don't disappoint. Get the 6 marks for the graph. Ne? Okay, let's move to this one. It's I think this one is about diseases. Ne? The diagram below illustrates the life cycle of a parasite in sheep. Okay, we can see that this is an internal parasite, and we can see there. All right, identify the type of a parasite illustrated in the diagram. A type, we can see that this is an internal parasite. Internal parasite. Ne? Classify the parasite according to its life cycle. Life cycle, it means how many hosts. There's one host, so it's a one host parasite. Parasite. You know, a parasite is it's an organism that depends on another one and can even secrete toxins. From the diagram above, deduce 2 symptoms of roundworm. So we can see that this is a roundworm. Roundworm infestation that may be visible and may be used to detect the problem. We can see them we can see them on the grass blades. Ne? On the grass blades, you can see them. These little creatures, and also you can see there the swelling of a jaw, swelling of a jaw of a sheep, conjunctivitis, swelling of the jaw. We also call it a bottle jaw, ne? Bottle jaw. Yeah, and then yeah, those that are visible. Discuss 2 appropriate measures to control a roundworm infestation based on the diagram. Burn the grass. Burn the grass or felt. Also, you can rest you can rest the felt, so that while you are resting the felt, these animals will die. And another thing that you can do. Okay, to control roundworm infestation, you burn, you rest the felt. Okay, so to get rid. All right, I will think of others. Give 3 reasons for using registered remedies and their recommended doses. So you use registered remedies because they have been tested. They have been tested, and therefore they are safe. And they come with correct dosage. They come with instructions and correct dosages, so that you don't get super roundworms, those that will not be killed. Ne? And yeah, so state 3 financial implications and detrimental effects of the above parasites might have to the farmer. Definitely, roundworm you need to deworm. So the cost of deworming, or of buying the chemicals to deworm, that is the anthelmintics. So of course, because of the parasites, there will be low production, and even the quality of meat may reduce, and low income or profit. Ne? Okay, and yeah, give 1 acute or fatal viral disease. Fatal viral disease, and it's an acute disease that infect animals' central nervous system, causing brain alteration. I can think of rabies. Yeah, because the rabies in dogs, it causes them to release excessive saliva and to be aggressive. They run around and bite anyone. They show a change of behavior. Even human beings, they are they baba ngathi bashiywa zingqondo. Even the animals, cattle, they run around bellowing, making noise, all that because it affects the nervous system. So rabies is a danger.